Hello, all you wild, weird, wonderful, fantastic, beautiful people live out there in YouTube land. I was nearly late. I nearly forgot. Oh, Lord. It's just been one of those busy morning, afternoony kind of things. I don't know if I have, if it's set to members only or whatever. I have it set on. And I can't check it now. So I'm sorry. How is everybody? How are we all keeping? How you doing, MRE? How are you keeping, chicken? Good to see you. Um, yeah, so I mean, the weather here today was supposed to be a beaut, but all I see is fog and mist. But we are supposed to be having really, really hot temperatures in the next week. I don't know if I believe that. Good to hear you're okay. How's the doggy? He's so cute. Your doggy's so cute. Hey Brian, how are you? Did you see your birthday post I put up for you? Hey Roberta, how are you? Good to see you, sweetheart. As I said, I can't remember if I said it to members only or subscribers only. I did it yesterday and I haven't changed it. So anyway, he's doing great. Oh, good. Hey Lady Stardust, how you did? You did good. I just thought it was hilarious. So, how is everybody keeping? What's the weather like in the UK and in Scotland and everywhere else? Because it's been pretty fucking miserable here. We've had the heat on and the light going, the fire going, and all sorts of things. So it's been Brian. I know. I just thought, yep, that's the very job for him. I'm not going to do a Scottish accent because it's terrible. I'm not the best at a Scottish accent. I'd have to be there for a while. Frida, how are you? How's it going, lovely lady? Good to see you. I'm just here waffling away. I have nothing in particular to say. Just hello. And does anybody want to come up and have an old chin wag? I see, hey Elflowers, I see there's a lot more protests going on in Dublin today. That's actually what I was doing. I was watching oh, where's the link? I was watching some live streams from Dublin at the GPO. So yeah, I mean it's we have, you know, I won't say the Love Ulster gang, but you know, people from the Orange, as I would say, the Ulster community, the Orange community, whatever, coming down now to join in with us. Okay, our politics may be different when it comes to the island of Ireland, but we are all sharing the one issue that we have problems and we need to get on top of it now before it gets completely out of hand. And yeah, so it's been very interesting watching it. It's funny when everybody has one common goal, how we can all come together and just put our crap aside. Hey Lady Witch, how's it going, sweetheart? It's hot and muggy here, is it? Oh well, it's not hot and muggy here. MRE,
Hi, top of the morning.
my Yankee brother, how you keeping?
Top of the morning. I'm doing all right. Just a little bad weather over here, and it caught a kind of a cold.
Oh crap! Yeah, it's a hard time. It's a hard time to get rid of a cold this time of year, you know, because it's muggy and it's warm, and you know you can't get rid of it.
Yeah, oh god, sleep with that air conditioner on you and stuff. I seen that thing you posted. I was watching it live about the protests in Ireland. I was loving it because,
Yeah.
as you know, I'm half Irish. My mother's people are from what the hell's it?
Mallow, County Cork.
No, not in Cork. It's up north.
Ah, okay.
Mallinboy. I can't even think of the friggin' name.
Okay. Well, it could be just there's so many different names that sound similar. It could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Mayo, maybe,
It's
or
up
is it?
north. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, I guess
Right.
a flag with the sword and the eagle.
Oh God, that's a family crest. I don't know about that now.
It's one of the provinces of Ireland.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's Connacht then, I think,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's all right. Yeah, it's I forget what it is, Mallow. Somewhere over there. But I have a
We
great
won't
love.
worry about it. We're claiming you. We're claiming you as one of ours anyway, MRE.
I'm very proud to be half Irish and my mother's people. and it breaks my heart to see the native population be replaced, and that goes for anywhere, right? Like no people should go replace a population of people, with religion, with all that stuff. It's no problem if a few people want to come over, no problem, right? But when you try to turn everybody into what you believe in, that's not good.
No, no, it's not. And see, the problem over here is, Emery, at the moment, there's so many undocumented so-called refugees coming in, and these men do not look like refugees to me. These are all well-built men, to be honest. And I've said it before, they look more like army-aged men.
Yeah,
they look like they look like well-built army-aged men that are being deployed all around Europe, and and it scares me.
The Great Replacement, sister. This has been in the works for years. That's why you have these NGO bums help these people invade other people's. Like I said, there's no problem taking a few people from no problem. But when it starts to and I think of 20 years, the Irish are going to be a minority, and they're going to be a hated minority in their country.
Yeah.
And what the UK don't understand is, and this goes for the whole UK, for England and Ireland. Once you are the minority, you are going to be a hated minority. They're going to force their caliphate and their laws upon you. It's like, come on. It's sad, but we have some of the dumbest people in the world. And I know it's these sellout politicians and stuff, but what other group of people invites people in to take over their country? And it's amazing. It's sad. But I know it's not the Irish people or the English people or the American people or the Italians or the French. It's the politicians and stuff.
Yep, absolutely, because they're the ones that have done it to us, and they're the ones that are sitting there going, oh, you can't say this and you can't say that. Really? Fucking watch me. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it loud. You know what I mean? We don't want this. They haven't listened to the people of their country. And the same in the UK. They will not listen to the people of their country. And, the UK has been getting it on the head for a very, very long time. They accepted so many more of them. We're only really feeling it now. And, it's like we've woken up from a really bad dream, that way, and to see that it's not a dream, it's a reality, and we're picking up now, and we're fighting back, and we're not tolerating it. We're not going to tolerate it.
No, amen. Yeah, they should vote them people out. They should get good politicians in there who are gonna you're gonna have to deport people if you live in the UK. If you do not deport people, Ireland's gone, England's gone. It's going to be part of a caliphate in the future. There will be no royal family neither, in case they convert. Everything's going to change. Look at the two-tier system they have in England. I've seen protests from the English guys with the St. George flag get attacked by cops, beat over the head with batons. But then I see ISIS flags and crazy flags, and they're beating up cops and spitting at cops, and they're just so scared of them. Or the two-tier system is just not fair. And it's like, what the fuck? This is come on, man. It's so depressing. And I've been talking about this for years. Over 20 years, I've been talking about the replacement. And everybody called me conspiracy theorists and stuff.
You guys have really had it for a very, very long time. I mean, you really have. You guys have had it for a very, very long time. And, the thing is, we're here. What I have noticed is when they came in small groups, they were all the loveliest people, the nicest people you could meet. But now there's so many of them here. They're joining in and say, well, this is our country now. This is our land. This is our people. This is what they were saying.
Yeah,
and we were like, absolutely not. No, it isn't. They tried to get the Angelus stopped at one stage here in Ireland. I don't know if you have. The Angelus is the bell would ring at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and this is where we have our prayer. We'd say a little prayer at the Angelus, and they tried to get that stopped on the TV, because it was offensive.
Offensive. How could anything Christian or about this country be offensive? You should love your country, right? It's a shame these cuck politicians and these cucked out people. I never seen such insanity. No humans on this earth, like Japan or China. You think they would let a bunch of Swedish people in to outpopulate them and then change their laws? No. What's
Absolutely.
wrong is wrong, right? Like
Yeah,
nobody should. I wouldn't go to any country and want them to be Catholics, right? Like you must be a Catholic, you know.
sure.
Going there and not appreciate. If somebody opened their borders to you and their doors, you should be very appreciative to that country, and you should assimilate and respect them.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, but they don't. I mean, there's so many different types of nationalities here now, which is fine, and it's always lovely. It's yeah, but be here under the right conditions. Have your paperwork done, contribute to society. Don't be a drain on society, because that's exactly what they are. I mean, we have no housing for our own people over here, yet these guys are driving around in cars, have beautiful homes. They're only in the country a wet day, and we've our own people sitting on county council lists for years and years before they're even getting offered accommodation. And it's just gone beyond the joke. They're saying the European Union is paying for it. The European Union isn't paying for it. The Irish taxpayer is paying for it, and I have that on very, very good authority from somebody who works there. And if we only knew half of the shit that was going on,
Huh.
I think the country would be completely up in arms. And I tried to kind of push her a little bit on it, but she wouldn't give me any more
Well,
information.
they do it a slow burn. It's called. It's called a slow burn, right? That's why they let a little in at a time. They're nice, until they send all these military age men in, and then they just
Yeah,
start outpopulating and taking over. And then you must conform and kiss their ass and
I will.
all that stuff. And it's not cool. It wouldn't be cool if anybody did that to them,
Oh,
But it's like,
if you were to do that over in there, you'd be fucking beheaded.
yes, you would, and as you should be, because you shouldn't be going making people convert to your beliefs. God made all people, and He put us in places for a reason, and made all human beings.
Yeah,
And He likes diversity like that. So
yeah.
if you got all these people just going in, and Ireland's not Ireland no more, right? Like, come on, it's a shame. It's heartbreaking.
I know. I mean, like, I even hear from the American tourists that come here. They're like, God, we wanted the Irish experience, and everywhere we go, it's like foreign people working everywhere. And I was like, well, we don't have a choice, unfortunately, with that anymore. It's like the government run different types of schemes to kind of get them out and trying to get them to, be part of the community and all this. And
It's
then they
not
get
going to
paid for this.
work.
And they get paid for this, by the way.
See, see what people don't understand is demographics is destiny. Do
Yeah.
you know what I
Oh,
mean by that?
yeah, I do. I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and in 30 years from now, if you do not deport people in England or Ireland, well, England for sure is just going to be a caliphate without a doubt. The whites, so look at what happens when you go into the prison system in England. You must convert to being a Muslim. If you do not, the white Muslims with their big red beards will come and throw hot sugar on your face and burn you. You must convert for protection. It's insane.
Oh my God. I didn't know that now, to be honest with you. I didn't know.
Yeah, not in every prison, but a
Yeah.
lot of prisons in England. You can research this.
Yeah.
They are run by extremist frigging gangs and stuff.
Wow.
Look at that Tommy Robinson guy. He got put in the can for releasing that documentary,
Yeah.
and he went and interviewed them people with a hot mic, right? And
Mhm.
all the people were saying, "Oh no, it's yeah, they lied, they threatened me, this and that." It's just insane.
The whole thing is insane. Like, what is the agenda? I'd like to know at the end of the day. I mean, is it just pure chaos they want to cause? I mean, like the thing
Want
I'm
to take over the
on.
West. They want to take over the West. They
Yeah.
have been wanting to take over the West for not just one people. It's a conglomerate of
Oh, yeah.
a lot of rich people and elites, and they wanna control Europe, right? They want
Mhm.
to mix it all up so it's easier to control and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sadly, and replace the populations of people.
Yeah. But, we weren't called the Fighting Irish for nothing. I mean, it is like we've just woken up from a very deep sleep, and we're looking around going, what the actual fuck is going on in our country now? And we're just pulling a stop to it now. They were trying to march. I could not believe it. They were trying to march on the GPO. But that didn't happen because we had our own Irish people turn up and block the road, so they never made it next to near the GPO. I mean, you've got Irish descent. You understand how important the GPO in
Yeah.
the thoroughfare in O'Connell Street is to us Irish people. It's a sacred site. And
Yeah, that's where
it's
Conley. Yeah, that's where
yeah,
Conley. R.I.P. to big fella James
yeah,
Conley.
yeah. All of the lads that were back there in the 1916 rising. You know, I mean, it's very prominent in our Irish history, and like Crow Park, and you know, many other places in Dublin that they have now taken over. They took over, which I could not believe, Crow Park for prayer, for prayer. Crow, and
That's
I cannot believe this is happening. You know, again, another very sacred site. I'm sure you know the history there. The
yeah.
English tanks came in and you know, blasted a lot of innocent people that were just there for the match, killed players, all of that kind of thing. And you know, the historic value, if you want, or the meaning, and you know, the people's families who are still alive, that you know are descendants from these people, are not only hurt, but it's just like a massive disrespect to our people, our culture, our religion, our way of life, and there's nothing that matches with us about their values or their beliefs or their
No,
ways.
it's two different worlds. Like I said, if you want to come here, respect the cultures, and you can have your own and worship your own, no problem.
Yeah.
But respect the culture. Do you have any politicians that are running on any deportations or anything like that? Because sadly, it seems like, and I hope I'm wrong on this, it seems that it might be too late, right?
Yeah.
If you do not have anybody, demographics is destiny. If you do not have anybody running with deportations,
But we
sad.
do have a couple of them. But you see, the thing is with politics, and I don't know if it's the same in every country. I can only speak for here. That you know, they're all this fight and talk, and they're this, that, and the other. And as soon as they get into Dáil Éireann, things seem to change. You
Yeah,
know,
that's all politicians. They're all liars.
yeah. So I have no faith in any politicians anymore. I mean, what I have faith in is I have faith in the people of Ireland, let you be from the north, south, east, or west. I have faith in the numbers
I
that
do
are.
too, but here's the thing though, like when you start giving out prison sentences for tweets and just speaking your mind, you're not even saying nothing bad.
Yeah,
Not who the hell wants to go do 10 years, right? For that. So most people they get compliant, all they care about is their football and this and that. They don't give a shit. And while they're watching football and all this stuff, giggling, eating their chips, their country's being handed off to someone else. It's a shame.
oh, I know. Well, thankfully that law didn't come in. You know, the hate speech law that was booted out. It never came in, thank God, because
Yeah, because in England, some lady's doing 10 years for a stupid tweet.
oh, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Ridiculous.
If
They
it's
don't have
hurt,
no free speech. You don't have. We don't even really have free speech in America. We kind of do, but we don't. Right? There's laws over here if like you disagree with some historical thing, you can get hit with a hate crime too. But it's not like the UK or nothing.
yeah,
I never seen nothing like it. It breaks my heart, especially being half Irish. My mother's people have a big love for Ireland. I got my Irish Italian flags all over my house,
I
and
know.
it really gets to me.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. You know, being here though and seeing the reality of it is quite scary because I live in this. Well, I don't live in a village. I live outside the village, but my small little village exploded in population by 3 times the amount of people, and nobody could speak a word of English, and it was quite scary walking in, you know, different shops or whatever, because there's gangs of lads standing around. They're all looking at you. They're all speaking their own language. You don't know what they're saying. You don't know what they're thinking. And it's fucking creepy, you know, and it doesn't make you feel safe in your own country.
Well, look at the Pakistani gangs that formed in England.
Oh,
They
there's
were
so
hurting
many of
all
them
those.
here.
They were hurting them children, and then when they went to report them, they're like, "Oh, you're a racist. We
Yeah.
can't take your thing. You're a racist." So they'd cover it up. We don't want to tell people what's going on over here because the people will get racist. It's like, well, there's a bunch of dudes hurting girls. I don't care what color you are. What you speak up about that,
Yeah.
right? You don't let no children get harmed or
No.
women get harmed. Just because you're scared to be called a racist, you cuck.
Yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. I mean, like for instance, the other day there was this guy. He tried to abduct I think she was visually impaired little girl, and
Jeez.
he was got, but not one day of jail time did he do because mental health issues.
Yeah, yeah, of course not. Yeah, it's amazing.
You know,
Amazing.
but if that had been you or me or anybody else, oh my fucking God,
Go
we'd have been
on.
tarred and feathered, you know?
Yes. Any native Irishmen did that? Oh, they would have been tar and feathered for sure.
Yeah.
But you get some loony Ben who came off of a boat and you don't know what the hell this dude was about in his world, right? He could have been some psycho, whatever, right?
Mm.
And you put him over and let him get away with it? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. It's like they've emptied out all the loony bins and all the
Of
psychopaths in the
course they
jail,
did.
and they've just sent them, let them be somebody else's problem. There was another video of another guy, no shirt, tracksuit bottoms on. I can't even remember if he had shoes on, walking down main road in the middle of the road with traffic with a mad machete in his hand, and Allah Akbar. Couple of lads went over to him, and in fairness, they were very good, because I don't think I'd have been able to hug him. They eventually got the knife off him and kicked it away. But another lad came along, an Irish lad, made sure he got into his home, and like I won't repeat what he said to him, but he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." As soon as the big bad knife was taken out of his hand, he was
Yeah.
crying like a baby. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Oh, this shit, But we can't have that. I mean, these are the streets where our children play, or walk to school, or walk to their shops, or go to their friends' houses. You just cannot allow this
They're
shit.
going to be targets in the future, sadly,
Yeah.
especially 15 years from now. If nothing is done, the Irish children, the Irish people, the women are going to be targeted. Are going to be targeted as they are
Oh,
now, but in higher numbers.
yeah. Well, it's like, that lovely girl, Ashling, she was a teacher, and she was going for a jog. I think it was after work, or was it the weekend? I can't remember now. It was a couple of years ago. And another asylum seeker, just a random attack. He murdered her along the side of a river. And I think, like, her boyfriend, well, her fiance, wrote a victim impact statement, and he was sued over it. But
Wow.
thankfully, yeah. But thankfully,
Wow.
it was
He
thrown
was
out.
sued
Yeah,
over.
the newspaper in the UK sued him, saying that it was a racist remark, this, that, and the other. So he sued, and like, he settled out of court, but basically he won. So this is the kind of shit that you're facing on a daily basis.
So
Oh,
how
you
do you
can't.
win against that, right? Like how that? That's why it breaks my heart. But I pray to God I have faith. But it's just like demographics is destiny, and
Yeah,
if you don't do nothing about it, sadly, these beautiful European countries are not European no more, and they're not going to be Christian no more either.
yeah.
It's
I mean, a prime example. I mean, I know we can all go look at England, but look at Paris.
oh my
Paris
God,
is screwed, like
oh my God.
completely screwed. There's parts of Paris that you just do not go next to near.
No, I knew a lady who used to go on vacation. This old woman, she used to go on vacations there. She stopped going like 15 years ago. She stopped going. They got toilets on the streets for people that want to go to the bathroom. It's just sick,
Wow.
sick.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been to Paris in quite a while, but I don't think it'd be a place that I'd be itching to run to. Unfortunately, I mean, there's many beautiful places there to see, but why would you put yourself in a place where is very, very dodgy, quite volatile, and something could happen? So, I mean, I suppose you could say that about any city, really. I suppose that's a bit unfair, but
You know what I hate too? I hate when they say, "Well, these people are helping your countries. You need doctors." And no, we'll get our own doctors and
yeah,
lawyers and our own people to pick oranges or whatever. And
yeah,
people will. They want the jobs.
yeah,
Like,
of
give me
course.
a break.
Well, the people that are coming into our country, they're undocumented, they're asylum seekers, they're a drain on our community, and we don't even know who they are.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
don't know their history.
no, we've no idea who they are, where they're from. I mean, the thing that annoys me is they get on a flight and they manage to get here, but when they get off, oh, no passport. Well, how did you get on the flight? I would pull that airplane apart until I found it. That
Yeah.
would just be me. And I'd be saying, right, there you are, that's you, off you go, you're going back to wherever it is that you came from, you're not staying here. But they're just like, oh, okay, you claim so well, you over there and wait, and then they're all getting coached in. to different
Yeah,
hotels.
they're putting hotels and
Yeah,
giving money why Irish veterans and widows and people on the streets are not getting helped. Like you got to clean up your own backyard before you help anybody else, right? It's a
100%.
shame.
100. That's a thing my grandmother used to always say. Make sure your back garden's tidy before you start poking your nose into someone else's.
There was an old saying that used to be said a lot. You say Asian countries for Asian, African countries for blacks, right? White countries for everybody.
Yeah.
Meaning we're the only dopes who let all these people know. No problem with a few people, right? No problem. But when you're letting them outpopulate the native population, you're insane. Your country is going to be totally transformed. And Robert, I don't think there's going to be no uprising or nothing like that. Here's why. Let's say you have even thousands of people hit the streets. So they're all going to get arrested, hit with crimes, get buried in jail, and they're going to scare the other people. Most people only care about their football games and their TV nowadays. Nobody wants to be uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
It's sad. Now I hope I'm wrong, right? But I've been studying this stuff for a long time. The invasions of our countries.
I
It's
know.
been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was called conspiracy theorists, everything like that. Now most people.
No, it's not conspiracy theory. I mean, my dad was saying this 20 years ago. He said, if we're not fucking careful, like, and, people go, oh, you're racist, you're racist. No, I'm not a racist. I don't want my values and my culture and everything that we are as a people, as a country, to be dissolved and like destroyed and replaced with something that's completely alien to us as a people.
Yeah, completely alien informant. Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of them that do come over, like you said, though, it's my country now, very rude and not like, so someone opens like someone lets you in their house, you're very respectful, right?
Of course.
Thank you. No, they come in, they're like, shut up, you dummy. Like, we're taking over. It's like, wow, so rude and arrogant. And because they know they can get away with it, too. It's a real shame.
Yeah, and that word, oh, racist, that is just getting, again, it's being overused, overworked.
Yes.
Means nothing to anybody now. You go, yeah, racist, really, whatever. Call me what you want. I really don't give a shit.
Well, those are words that shut people up, right? Those are words that shut you down because you can lose your job and all this other fucking baby shit over that. So it's
I'd rather lose my job and stand on my principles than I would like sitting down and being a little sheep and staying quiet. I'm sorry.
True, but there's other people who they look at their 3 children and say, well, if I lose this job, these 3 kids aren't eating tonight. We're going to be sleeping outside. Let me conform. And it's hard to blame people for that, right? Like,
because they've installed fear.
Yes, the fear.
Yeah,
especially we got laws like
noose. It's a fucking tight noose. You know that yourself, because everybody's got mortgages, everybody's got kids, everybody's got something. But like, think back to when we had feck all in this country, and the crown was breathing down our necks. We were fighting them off with sticks and stones, and we still found the time, even when we were starving and dying, to fight back. And I think a lot of Irish people have forgotten that about ourselves, about who we are, and I think they need to be reminded. I'm not saying that we have to take up arms and start fighting them. Those days are gone, thankfully. But
you are right. The Irish people are some of the most resilient, strongest people on the planet. The Irish have been talk about slavery. The Irish have been put through slavery and all kinds of occupying for thousands of. They've been through hell, and they still have the fighting spirit, the Irish. But when you break them like this, right, with laws and outpopulating people, it's just like, shit, where does it end? It seems like it's not going to end till they get what they want, totally multicultural society where the Irish are a small minority and a hated minority.
Yeah. Well, you see, the problem is if they had have done it very slowly over time, we wouldn't have even noticed. This is where they've fucked up. They've let too many in too quick. We've noticed.
Yes, recently, yes.
Yeah, we've noticed, and now we've woken up and we're going, hang on a fucking minute here. This isn't happening. Like,
it was a slow burn for a while, but in the last 5-6 years, they really amped it up, and it's real bad. I've seen videos on YouTube, stuff like that, and it's just like, I was watching that video you shared, right? I was watching that comment, and then
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And you know what makes me very proud? You know, north and south, where we have a divide between, you know, the Ulsters and the Protestants and the Catholics. But what made me really happy was we have the Ulstermen coming down. They're not flying their banners of the Ulstermen or anything like that. They're flying the Irish flag and they're saying, look, we have our differences, but we're putting these aside because
As
this
they
has got
should.
to stop, you
Yeah,
know?
as they should. All right, we're
Yeah,
Protestant, you're Catholic, okay? Who cares? We're Christians, right? We lived together
yeah,
for years. We're all Irish or whatever.
yeah,
This is a totally foreign thing that's going to come in. Well, let's say caliphate, right? That's going to wipe both of our sects of our religion out. So
yeah,
I'd love to see the people stand together. All Irishmen, I don't care, Scotsmen, whatever. If you live in Ireland, I don't care if you're a loyalist, but whatever. They
yeah.
must stand together, throw them old beefs away. You got to throw them old beefs away because
Got it.
you're going to be beefing over there about Protestant and Catholic and loyalists and this. And guess what? The caliphate's going to be like, okay, both you in the hole.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and I think that's what's really starting to happen. And even with like some of the Irish groups and the groups over in the UK now, you know, that are really fighting back hard. I would love to see them all joining together.
They should.
You know, yeah, and I that's what I would really love to see them all joining together. Obviously, we need to kind of keep the pressure on people over here and the so-called politicians that we have here. But if we all literally came together in one group to literally like try our best to force these people to see what is happening in our country. I mean, I was disgusted to see Irish people being turned away from Crow Park and the Muslims being allowed in. And
Yeah, it's a two-tier system. Two-tier.
I mean,
Uh,
that made me cry. That actually made me cry. I
of
thought, I can't
course. Yeah.
believe what's happening to my country. What is going on? I mean, I'm from Dublin. I am a Dub. You
Yeah.
know, and it's like I cannot believe this. I mean, fair play to that woman. She went in dressed as a Muslim person, and she got up and she said a decade at the Rosary, and they literally escorted her out. I suppose they knew she was on camera, so they escorted her out nicely, you know. But he
Well,
just had
Christians got to remember. Christians got to remember. Yeah, we're Christ-like, but we were the people who had crusades and shit, right? We're not weak, you
yeah.
know. We're
Oh
not
no,
weak
far from it.
people.
Far
And they
from it.
get and all the Christians have to unite and all people, even atheists, no matter what. If you're a native person in these countries, you better stand up, talk to your politicians to get new people in there, run some people who are going to talk about deportations. You gotta drive this back.
Mm.
It's amazing and terrible.
Yeah, it's got to happen because I mean that this every other day on the news. Well, maybe not so much on the news because they don't want to broadcast as much of what's going on. So if you want to see anything, you have to go to I still call it Twitter, X, and YouTube, and
Yep.
you're seeing what's really happening in real time on the streets of Ireland, and it is not funny. And now there's this big monument, this big huge Muslim monument outside Drogheda now, and
Really?
yes, and I'm looking at it going, what in the actual, like,
That's
why
just
is
the
that
start.
there?
Because it's just the start.
Oh, I know, yeah, but I would like to see that removed. I would like to see it removed. It is not an Irish person. It's not representing anybody Irish or anything that happened in our Irish history. So why is it there? It has no business being there. Could you imagine trying to erect a crucifix or a statue of Mary over in one of their countries?
Oh, hell no. I wouldn't even,
Oh,
that'd be rude. I wouldn't even think of doing that, number one.
of course you would.
And it would be rejected. They'd cut your head off. And it should be rejected. You
Yeah.
know, just like we should reject any kind, like, hey, listen, if they want to have like one little mosque and there's a little community, a small community of people, no problem. But this is too much. Too
Oh,
much.
you want to see the size of the mosques we have in Dublin? Oh my God.
That's so sad.
Yeah. I mean, there's one there that's been there for a long time. I can't think of the name of the place where it isn't, but it is huge. There's like a shop in it, and there's also, you know, for their halal meat and things. Look, you know, I'm okay with people having a place to go and gather and pray. That's fine. That one has been there well over 20 years. But when they're replicated and there's so many of them being put
Yeah.
up. It's like, oh, hang on a minute now, hang on, you know. And I started to read the Quran because I wanted to be more informed about the religion, about what it means, and I'm horrified. I'm
As
absolutely
you should be.
fucking horrified.
Yeah, as you
What
should be. I've read
they
it too.
married a 6-year-old, had sex with her when she was 9. What I mean, like
Yes,
consummated
the
marriage.
wife. What was her name? I forget her name, but
Oh,
yeah,
I can't
he
remember her.
what's her
I'll
name?
speak.
I forget it, but yeah,
I'll
he
just
married her at
yeah,
like what, six,
6.
7 years old.
Yeah, and consummated the marriage at 9. And to
Well,
be
he
honest,
was a warlord. He was a warlord that lived back in that what you call it century. He was a warlord that just made everybody think he was a prophet.
yeah, he came 500 years after I think, wasn't it Jesus or the
Yeah.
Bible? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So he was just a
uh,
man. He was a great warlord, but that's what he was, a warlord.
yeah,
Convert or die.
yeah, yeah, and and so I'm getting to this. I'm getting into his story, but to be honest with you, any Muslim is like allowed to marry a baby, a child,
Yeah, it's
and
crazy.
horrifying. And when you actually say this to some Muslims, I genuinely don't even think a lot. I won't say a lot of Muslims, but a lot of Muslims, some Muslims don't realize really what's in the Quran. I know they read the prayers and they do the this and the that, but when you actually look at it, it's fucking terrifying. I mean, there was a video I saw on YouTube. An 11-year-old girl got engaged to this guy in his late 20s, early 30s,
Jesus.
and full kissed her on the mouth. And
That's
all the family there's, yay, hooray, and he put the ring on her finger and she's crying with happiness. And I'm thinking, oh, sweet Jesus Christ, that poor baby.
yeah. That makes me sick. No child should be put through that. That's why it's a very sick and perverse. Now there are some moderates and people, like you said, who don't know much about it, and they're decent people.
Yeah,
But
of
these
course.
radicals that follow it to a T, it's fucking frightening.
Yeah. I mean, we know what they think of us. They think we're filthy dogs and we're
Yes,
pigs, less
yes.
than an I mean, we know what they think of us, anybody who isn't Muslim, and that's kind of pathetic and sad to me. That's teaching hate. That's not teaching love. So when they get on their bandwagon about, oh, hate speech, well, I can pick out tons in the Quran that's hate speech. So what do you want to say about that? I can pick out child abuse. I can pick out this. I can pick out that. So what where do we stand on that then?
Yeah, just like I was talking about, like those guys and those poor lads in England who was flying the beautiful St. George flag. The cops were hitting them with batons and everything, but not the ISIS flags. Oh boy, they could yell at the cops, bully them. They were scared of them, boy. Oh my God.
Do you know they actually have Sharia law in the UK? There are, I think there's 4 courts now that have Sharia law in the UK.
Yeah, I heard about that, and that is just terrible and insane.
Well, I
Insane.
can't ever imagine that happening over here because it would be burnt down. I know what Irish people are like. If any of that shit started, it would be burnt down. And not that I agree with it. I certainly don't agree with any property or people being damaged. But when it comes to things like that,
When's enough is enough,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
That's
when
what,
you live in a country, you've got to abide by their rules. You can't just decide to bring in your rules from your country or your religion because you want to.
well, they do it because they want to, and they can get away with it. Sadly.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not really under religious law, even though they say it is. Now, I'm as I said, I haven't fully read the Quran yet, but I am getting there. And there is a lot of nice kind of things in it, and there are a lot of,
But the bad outweighs the good.
it does. It really fucking does. And if anybody hasn't read the Quran, I would urge you to read it. Because you can get it in English, obviously. And which I have, and it makes for very eye-opening and disturbing reading. That's all I can say.
Very disturbing.
Yeah, yeah.
Aisha was her name, right?
Oh, that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, it
Aisha.
just hit me.
Yeah,
Aisha.
And I should have remembered that because my friend's daughter, or not my friend's daughter, my friend's daughter's name is Aisha. So I should have remembered that. So I think I was just so horrified at what I read. It just left my brain, it just, oh,
Well, you got to remember the whole thing about that religion is to conquer. Remember, they tried to push into Europe many years ago, and we stopped them, right? We stopped the Ottomans, the Ottoman Turks,
yeah,
from pushing in. We had many holy wars to stop these people from invading the West, right?
yeah.
They've tried it so many times.
But what they've done now is what I'm going to make comparisons here now. What they've done now is exactly what the Jewish have done in Palestine. Sent in little groups here, there, take over that area, take over this area, take over that area. They've done the exact same thing in Europe.
Yeah. Well, exactly. If you look at the West Bank, right, they say two-state solution. How can you have a two-state solution when in the West Bank there's hundreds of Jewish settlements, illegal settlements? Yeah. They did that. See, Netanyahu knew he could manipulate the Oswald Accords. There was like a loophole where you could keep building settlements and stuff, and they did that so you could not have a two-state solution.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely bang on the nail there. Exactly. They don't want a two-state solution. They want to annihilate all those Palestinian people.
They want them gone. They want the Greater Israel Project. That's what they want. And now people are going to say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but go look that up and then go look at the borders and how everything's been changed. Go look at the thousands of children. Now, what happened on October 7th was terrible, right? That's wrong. No people should be killed or hurt, right? No. But when somebody robs a bank and hides in your town, you go in there and arrest the bank robbers. You don't blow the whole town up and kill thousands of children.
No, you don't do that. I mean,
there's no excuse for that. I hear these people making all their excuses, or terrorists are hiding under this or that. Well, then you control the area. Go catch them.
Yeah.
Why are you blowing everything up? You know why you're blowing everything up? Because you want to move them out and you want to move all the settlements in.
Oh, yeah. And it's cheaper then because the buildings are already demolished. They just have to clear and build.
Well, people can't live in their demolished buildings, right? People cannot live if you have demolished buildings. So they got to move somewhere.
But the thing is, they can't even get out. It's not like they can move anywhere. They can't get out.
No, it's a prison camp, an open-air prison camp.
It absolutely is. And then you've got people that are, again, I am not anti-Jewish. I am not.
And sadly, you're going to even say that. See how you're going to even say that? By criticizing a country's government, you will be called an anti-Semite, that you hate Jewish people, which is not the case at all, right? No. There's a lot of good Jewish people over there who don't agree with that stuff, right?
Of course there is. And they're lovely, lovely people. And, it breaks their heart to see what's happening over there because, I haven't fully read the Torah either, and I'm getting around to that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's going to shock you, too.
Yeah. Oh, no, please don't tell me that.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah.
Deal with one shot at a time.
Just like the Quran did, that's going to shock you. You got to get around to reading that.
Yeah, well, I have kind of picked it up and put it down and picked it up and put it down. But anyway. But, there are good people there that don't agree with what's happening. And what I want to try again and say is I'm not an anti-Semite. I'm not anti-Jewish. I am anti-Zionist. That is, and people don't seem to realize that there's a huge difference between.
Big difference.
Huge, and, people say, oh, but these are Muslims in Palestine. The problem isn't, it's for me, the way I look
at Muslims, there's Christians too. There's Palestinian Christians. They've been really wiped out, though.
The thing is, it's about right and wrong. It's not about religion or this or that. Oh, you're anti this, you're anti that. No. It's a very, very simple, straight down the middle kind of a thing. You're committing genocide here. This belongs to them. This is their people's land. You don't have any business being here. Go back to fucking Egypt if that's where you came from. You know what I mean? Wherever it is, you go back there and see how long you manage over there. You know what I mean? But so I'm tired of this old rhetoric of anti-Semite. No, I'm not anti-Semite. I'm anti-Zionist, and I've always been, and I always will be. And I think I'm allowed to express my opinion, which we do have in Ireland. We have freedom of expression. So I'm allowed to express my opinion on all of these things as you are.
Yeah, I've been talking about this stuff for years, and it just I hate to say, for years I've been watching this stuff. It just gets worse and worse, and I'm like, wow. But finally, people are waking up. Right, 10 years ago, I was talking about all this shit that all these top YouTubers are talking about. I was talking about this 10 years ago, right? And nobody would touch it with a 10-foot pole. So I'm happy that people are finally speaking up about this,
Yeah.
about all these things. But sadly, I think it's probably too late. Sadly.
Well, I don't, I always like to keep a bit of faith and a bit of hope. I always think that, it's never too late as long as you start somewhere. And we have to start by A, closing borders, not allowing anybody else in. B, start deportating these people that are undocumented. They should never have been allowed put foot on Irish soil unless they had their paperwork with them. I have no problem in any man, woman, or child coming to this country if they have their correct paperwork and they're coming to work and be part of society and, just live a normal life. But what we're getting is the complete opposite. We're getting the dregs of their society sent over here. Half of them are out of their mind on drinking drugs when they come here. I don't ask me where they get the money for starts. You know what I mean?
The government, the NGOs, those
Yeah,
NGOs.
yeah. They
You
get.
know who the NGOs are?
Sorry, go on ahead.
Do you know what the NGOs are? Then these non-government officials.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're a bunch of bums. They're the ones who pay them. They're the ones who help them. Give them like these papers of how and where to go and all this shit. It's amazing. It's like, what are you getting out of this? Nothing. Why are you doing this? It must be a very deep evil plan to replace the European people to do this, and we're only 8% of the world. Let's be honest. European people are only 8% of the world. We are the minority in this world. So, it's like, come on, stand up for your countries and don't let them be outpopulated. You want to have a few people in there, no problem. God bless. But when you're being outpopulated, you're committing suicide. You're destroying it. It is genocide.
It is genocide. Yeah. I mean, it just in a completely new way, in a new fashion that we have never seen before, and I think because now, as you said, a lot of people were clued in very, very earlier on, like yourself and a few others. And now your words are sort of prophetic now, it's like, Jesus, he said this years ago. How did we not see it? How were we so blinded by, everything that's going on?
The media, they don't let you back then, right? Before YouTube, all this stuff and the internet, and they even silence certain things, right? The algorithm buries certain things. Okay. Before that, not many people, really knew about stuff like that, right? Like I learned it as a little kid studying certain things, but most of my friends and family thought I was crazy, right? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
like crazy. And nowadays, they're like, wow, all that crazy stuff you talked about. God damn, I thought you were batshit crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, well, it's not just me. I learned it from a lot of other people too. And it's just, it's hard to get the information out there, right? You put something up on YouTube, it won't get seen by nobody if the algorithm don't like it.
Yeah, that's very true. It's
considered racist, right? Just someone speaking about they don't want their native population displaced, right?
Yeah.
It's wrong when they did it in colonial times, right? When the Europeans and other nations did that to people, that was wrong. And this is wrong now. So for saying how bad that was, why are we letting it happen again?
Yeah.
No humans deserve that.
No humans.
And God made all of us, right? He made all people.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I do have compassion and I do understand if people are fleeing a war-torn country, and I do mean war-torn.
Yeah, but how do those wars, I don't mean to cut you off, but how do those wars start, right? Us backing little countries in the Middle East that want to wipe out all their neighbors and shit. And then we go into Iraq and we take out Saddam Hussein, who was good for Iraq, or Bashar al-Assad in Syria, who was good for Syria, who kept the radicals in line. We take them out, and then you got all these people who flee because they're going to be killed by the radicals, and we send them to our countries. It's insane.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Saddam had all those boys in check. Look, he ran his country the way he needed to run it, but again, it's not the American people; it was the American government. They were like, "Nah, we can't have that. We want his oil. Fuck him, get rid of him," and let the other lunatics kind of take over. And it's just the same crap repeated time and time again, and it's
And it's
just
all a plan. It's not just or about 10 years ago. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy called General Wesley Clark. Well, he was an American politician and a general, right? He was in the Pentagon, and some other general told him, he won't say his name, he goes, in the next 7 years, we're going to topple 7 regimes: Libya, Syria, Iran, all these countries, right? Iran's the only one left right now. And sure enough, all those friggin' countries were toppled. So you're trying to tell me this ain't no organic thing or mistakes, or we really thought Saddam was hiding or Bin Laden or something crazy. No, this is a mythological, planned out thing on replacement and conquering, and it's sad.
It is sad. And the thing is that just makes me sick is you've got these fat fucking, overfed fuckers sitting in the lap of luxury around these tables making all these decisions about countries left, right and center. We'll start a war with them, send in the troops. You won't find their children on the front line. You won't find their children on the front line. Well, you know what I would say to your senators: when you're on the front line with your family and your children, then I'll think about it.
Yeah. All these neocon wars for what? Afghanistan, all them years for what? Like, we could have went in there and smoked the guy and took him out. Why do we have to invade there and lose all these people? Right? Iraq too. Like, and Sarah, even with this Iran stuff. We don't want them to get a nuclear weapon. Yeah, I don't want to have a nuclear weapon too, but there's other countries that have nuclear weapons. Are we going to bomb every country with a nuclear weapon? Right? Think about it.
That's the thing. Who does America think they are? If you have weapons like that, why can't other countries have them to protect themselves?
Yeah, and I wish everybody would throw away nukes, right? All right, Russia's got nukes. Israel's got nukes. So many people are we going to go invade all these countries because they got nukes? Right, and here's the thing: for the last 20 years, and there's proof of this, you've had Netanyahu and American politicians say, in the next year, Iran's going to have a nuke. The next week, they're going to have a nuke. Within 2 years, they're going to have a nuke. I don't see them with any nukes nuking nobody, right? And I'm not a fan of their government or nothing like that, but people are going to understand we do not need any more of these foreign wars to get our people killed and to, once again, push refugees into our countries.
Yeah, I mean, look at America as it is. I mean, they've done a great job, the politicians, on dividing your people. They really have. They have done such a good job that that divide between black, white, or whoever, Chinese, whatever, they all hate each other now with a passion, and it's so fucking sad. It's heartbreaking to see.
Well, it is sad because for years we were told Americans, we don't look at color, right? We're all one. We're American, no matter if you're black, white, Chinese, right? They would say that for years. Well, then why do we have different anthems? Why do we have all these different you have an American anthem for blacks, for this one's for that? Why don't we just have one? We're all American, you told us, right? So they tell you one thing, and they send mixed messages, and they pit people against each other, and racial divide, religious divide. That's how the big military-industrial complexes and all these bums run, and these rich elites.
Yeah, and if people would only wake up to that fact that your country is rage baiting you. This is what they're doing to get their agenda done and get it over the line. People could just take a step back and just leave the anger there for 2 minutes and just take a step back and see the bigger picture. If the American people came together, they would be unstoppable, and they know that. That's the problem with the government over there. They are shitting themselves that every American is going to wake up one morning and go, hang on a fucking minute. No, this isn't happening. Down tools, everybody down tools and take to the streets. Yeah,
I wish, but sadly that will never happen over here because of the divide you're talking about, right? Yeah. And most people are stupid. Let's just be honest. Most human beings don't care. Like I said, they just want to watch their football, their basketball, their TV shows. They want to live comfortably. They just don't really care. That's why, I got everybody watching sports and shit, and nobody pays attention to what's going on in their society, right?
It's crazy because I mean, if people don't start looking around them now, while there's still something that they can do about it, they're going to wake up one day and they're going to look around. They're not going to recognize where the hell they are.
That's already happened in many of our countries right now. There's certain parts of my country, your country, parts of Europe that you can go through and be like, "Wow, where is this? This is insane, right?" Like
Yeah.
it's being transformed right in front of our eyes. Especially in my lifetime, I'm 70. I'm 46. So I was born in 79.
Okay.
The transformation just in this last 46 years has been unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I'm 50. I'm 74, and the last, I would say, 15 years in Ireland has just been like unbelievable, the amount that have come in. Again, I am not speaking about the people who have come over here with their papers and they're working away, they're raising families, paying mortgages, all of that kind of thing. I'm not speaking about them. And I'm tired of having to I have to keep reiterating that. But it's the people that are coming in with the supposedly no passports, and they're in the iPass centers and they're getting put up in hotels, and you want to see their gear. They're getting free iPhones, brand new iPhones. They're getting when they're landing in, they've all got North Face jackets on them, all fucking top of the range expensive shit, and their runners are not all of the best.
All
And
paid
these
for by
lads
the
do
Irish
not.
citizens.
Yeah,
Sad.
these guys do not look like they've had one day of harshness in their entire life.
A lot of them are sleeper cells too.
Oh, I know that, yeah. And that's what makes me so scared,
Well, that's
because
the thing. I didn't want to like. I was mad at Trump for. I'm glad he pulled back though and yelled at Israel and Iran both. And he's like,
yeah,
"Stop this shit!" Right? Like, but it's like we don't need any of these more of these friggin' wars and shit. It's not good. And not only that, when we do that, right, then we get some crazy sleeper cell dude who tries to kill Americans. Then all the Americans want to go kill them, right? After 9/11, right? I knew guys who were going to attack dudes and like I'm like, dude, he's an Indian dude. Leave him alone, right? Like people were going nuts. A lot of people got beat up around my area. A lot of store owners and shit who are Arabic or Indian
yeah.
and stuff. So my point is, all right, by us bombing Iran and stuff, what if a sleeper cell does something crazy and kills a bunch of our citizens? Americans go for blood with that stuff, right? Like we fell for it with the Iraq crap, you know.
I know. I know.
That's
But
what I worry about.
I can understand that being a knee-jerk reaction. I mean, when somebody hurts your people or your countrymen and it's a massive attack on your country, I can understand that knee-jerk reaction. But that's when you don't respond. You have to
Exactly.
sit back. You have
Yes.
to think. You can't just do that knee-jerk reaction, because it, like, look at it over history. It's happened again and again and again. The knee-jerk reaction is straight in and bomb them, or annihilate them or whatever. It doesn't work.
And it
It's
could be
never
a false
worked.
flag. It could be a false flag, meaning
Of
it could be
course.
our own government or someone else's government doing it, right? Now
Oh
you got
yeah.
to think these people, these oligarchs, and these rich people. A lot of these people make a lot of money selling planes, guns, ammunition, right? They love wars. That's why the neocons, the Dick Cheneys, the McCains, the Lindsey Grahams, they love war. Anytime these guys can smell a war, they're all in on it.
Well, listen, we all know what war generates, and it's money.
Yes.
And that's the long and short of it. That's what it generates. It generates money, industry, and this and that and the other. But the thing that makes me sick about the politicians in America is, like, they're dealing guns with one hand and then they're divvying out food in the other, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I I
it's
can't I cannot get my head around that. Why are you giving guns to the Israelis and then giving the food parcels to the Palestinians? It just, I can never get, I can't make my head make that make sense.
because APAC, right? APAC, the foreign lobby, they control that. Like 90%, 99. There's only one senator who don't take money from APAC, and that senator is Robert Massey, Thomas
Well,
Massey. He's the only one. So when you get big money from donors and stuff, you're gonna back and do whatever they say. So Why do you think they get their bread buttered no matter who's in charge, Democrats or Republicans? Bibi gets his bread buttered no matter what. They can do
Yeah.
whatever they want. They get, they might have one administration might criticize them a little, but you're criticizing them and still giving them weapons and money. That 3 point something billion or whatever we give them a year could go to our own people, right? I have no problem helping people, and I got no problem with, right, we're Christians to help people, but helping
Yeah.
people is one thing, and supplying frigging ongoing wars is another.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Or,
And you know that
take care of your own. Sorry, but take care of your own house. Feed your own kids before you feed anyone else.
exactly. It's not like America doesn't have a massive problem with homelessness and drugs and all that kind of thing, as we do here as well. And it just baffles me that people just want to put all this money into worrying about shit that's happening hundreds of thousands of miles away. That's actually nothing got to do with your country. But
Yeah.
yeah, oh, let's go over and fight them over there because it's wrong. But is it not wrong to let your people die from not being able to afford their medication? Or is it not wrong that this person can't go and get their chemotherapy because their insurance won't pay for it? Or there's so many things that you
Or
could pick
veterans
look at.
sleeping on the street, men who
Yeah,
fought for this
exactly.
country sleeping on
Exactly.
corners.
That has to make, that would make me so angry as an American. If I was an American, that would make me very, very, very angry.
It
You know,
makes me angry. Because I've seen a lot of them. I've talked to a lot of veterans who are homeless. Not a lot. Maybe I met like 4 or 5 homeless veterans over the years, and they weren't drug addicts. They just couldn't afford. Some of them had drinking problems, but they just couldn't afford an apartment.
yeah. Well, my uncle, he was in the very end of the Vietnam War. He was American. He was a Marine, and the drinking problem absolutely when they all came home because their brains were so fucking scrambled from what they saw over there.
Well, they were
He was
also
only
giving them
kid.
opium over there. They were
Oh,
giving them heroin and
yeah,
all kinds of drugs, supplying
speed,
LSD.
speed to keep them awake. It was speed, speed,
Yeah.
speed, cocaine to keep them awake. Um, but thankfully that wasn't something that he had an issue with when he came home. It was just the drink, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
That's another war we should have not have been in.
yeah, I mean, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but you know, America, Ireland, all of our own countries needs to stop looking outside, and seeing what other countries have that you want. Just forget about other countries for a minute and look at what we can do for our people. What are we doing for our people? And the answer is very fucking little.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Like,
thought about
take care of your
Ireland.
own drug problem, our drug people, our
Yeah,
homeless people, before
yeah,
we go give billions of dollars to other people or let
yeah.
anybody else in. Let's make sure everybody's got homes, this or that. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
And look, I'm not talking about, giving somebody a beautiful house in the countryside with 2 and 3 acres of land. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just basic, good, warm, clean housing. You know,
A little apartment or something. Like, what the hell?
yes, yes. And if you have a family, obviously, you have enough accommodation to sleep everybody. But that's not happening. I mean, and it's just really, really annoying. What I call them over here, there's too many do-gooders, you know?
Yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
oh, but these are human beings. Yes, they're human beings, but they're not my countrymen and women. What about these human beings that are on the streets with their kids?
Yeah, so what's the normalest thing with a human, right? You love yourself, your family, right? And then your neighbors, and then your extension of that are your people, where you're from, right?
Yeah,
So there's nothing wrong with and you're gonna love your children more than your neighbor's kids, right? Like, I don't care what anybody says. It's a fact, right? It's just how humans are built.
yeah,
So we should look out for like I said, our family, our friends, and then the rest of the people in our country.
yeah, yeah. I'm really hoping that it's not too late for America to realize what has been done to them.
Oh yeah, it is.
People.
Demographics is destiny, like
I
I
know,
said before.
I know, and I do agree with you 100%. But I really do hope that it's not too late for the American people to wake up and see how they're being used. You
Well, the
know,
country is going to be balkanized. You know what
yeah,
balkanization is. I believe this is going to happen probably in about maybe 40, 50 years.
do you think so?
It won't be put on race. It'll be on party lines, right? Like
Yeah.
hardcore Republicans, hardcore Democrats. Yes, I believe in the future you'll have governors and shit literally fighting with other governors and some local strife and shit. And I believe the country will balkanize in the future. I could be
Yeah.
wrong though. That's
I
just.
hope it doesn't happen. I really
I
do. I
hope I'm
hope.
wrong. Yeah, I hope I'm wrong also.
Yeah, but and it's funny you should say that because I was only saying the same thing to my other half the other day. You know, I can see things like that happening here. But what really it really made me feel I don't know, like a sense of relief or happiness or whatever when I saw that the guys from Ulster, the Love Ulster guys, or you know, the Orange Man or whatever you want
Yeah,
to call
good. Yep. God
it.
bless them.
And yeah, God bless you, lads. You were down and you were, you know, saying, okay, I won't go so far as to say I want to see a whole Ireland because that's not what I believe in. But I'm here because, you know, our way of life, our Irish way of life, our UK way of life is been smothered and it's been stamped out and it has to stop. And I just thought, well, fair play to him. I respect that man, you know?
Oh yeah, I think that the loyalists over there who have a lot of English and Scottish roots
Mm.
should govern their little own community, right? Give them their
Yep.
own little community government. What would you rather have, a caliphate all around you, a little Protestant nation in the fucking in Northern Ireland, right? Like, you're gonna make everybody happy, especially if the Irish are gonna come together, right? That's what they should do. They should come together, stop all that fighting, which I believe they have. God bless them.
Yeah.
Stand together because we're both Christians, for Christ's sake. So we're all Irish or English or Scottish. You know, I'm speaking if I was one of them. I am half Irish,
You
but
are Irish. We're claiming you. We're claiming you.
oh well, I that's why I do care about Ireland. 'Cause that's where my mother's people are from. Generations of my family lived in Italy and Ireland before we were ever an American. But I am an American. But I still love my, mother Europe, native European people who I descend from.
Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that, you know.
no, absolutely not. And it's great that you can see past the American agenda, if you know what I mean, because a
Oh,
lot
of
of people
course.
can't really see past the ends of their nose, you know, and it's really heartening to think that there are lots of other people like you in the States that are able to see past the agenda and see what's really going on. Because I think that's only happening here now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people over here that can see what's going on for sure. And
Yeah.
that's why I talked about earlier. Never in my lifetime have I seen these topics ever talked about on the mainstream, ever. You know,
Mm.
like I've seen them talked about on like YouTube channels of 5 people on them, right? Because no one gets, small independent things here and there. But never did it hit mainstream like it has over the last few years. And that does give me hope. But
Yeah.
once again, if there are no deportations, demographics is destiny. So people must be deported. People came in this country the last few years illegally and stuff. They're gonna be deported. Hey, people come here the right way, no problem, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I don't have it as you know. I think we both sing from the same hymn sheet on that. You know, when people are coming over here to work, you know, to buy a home, raise a family, and you know, pay their dues, whatever. Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. You're welcome, but don't come in here. You know, unnamed, undocumented, and then start running riots with machetes down streets, robbing kids off playground, and you know, and abusing children, and setting up these paedophile rings, and
Yeah.
because that's what's happening and it's fucking terrifying. You know, I would lose my life if I had to raise a small child here now. I really would, anywhere actually now,
Yeah.
because it's everywhere,
I
you know.
wouldn't send my if I have no children. I have 2 godsons, but if I don't want no kids. I never really did. Really, I
Mhm.
had many opportunities, but never wanted them. I don't know why, but I'll put it this way: I would not want to raise a kid. I wouldn't let my kid go to school. I would not let him learn from these schools. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's gone complete, and not even just about the certain agendas that they've laid out. It's all this LGBTQIWZ fucking plus whatever, you
Yeah.
know. uh, this ideology that they're pumping into young kids now as well, from, as you call it, kindergarten over there, like we call it
Oh
play
yeah, they're
school
hitting
here.
them hard.
Oh, Jesus
It
Christ.
stopped a little since the Orange Man got in. It has stopped a little, but
Yeah.
they've still been pushing it hardcore in the schools. There was a good documentary I seen, and it was on like a YouTube short, not a short, what do you call those ads? An ad, and it
Yeah.
was about these kids who transitioned and then realized it ruined their life. You know what I mean? And then went back and they
Yeah.
told how the guidance counselors bullied their parents and told them how great it was going to be, and they telling all the side effects, how it ruined their lives and stuff. It's sad.
It's heartbreaking because I've seen a lot of those situations, and there's more and more and more of those people coming forward to tell their stories, because it isn't the fix all. I mean, a lot of teenagers suffer with depression. You're a fucking teenager, or
Yeah,
you're still trying to find yourself or your place in the world, and yeah, you go through all sorts of mad shit in your head, whatever. But it doesn't mean that you're not in the right body, or that you know what I mean. You will get through it. It's just teenage years. I mean, what we
yeah.
did was,
And if you're gay, you're gay, right?
yeah,
No problem.
no,
Be a gay person. They've been around for a long time,
yeah,
right? I don't agree with it personally. I'm a Catholic, but I don't have nothing against them or wish them any bad. Uh, be a gay person, but to mutilate yourself is just crazy.
you know what an adult wants to do to themselves is, that's on you. You're an
Yeah,
adult.
true.
That's on you. But to enforce that on a small child who cannot tell the difference between reality and real, like that, still believe in Santi and the Tooth Fairy, you know what I mean?
And
That's
the peer
where,
pressure, the
yes,
peer
thank you.
pressure.
Yeah, that's where I draw the line. This child cannot tell the difference between reality and fairy tale. So why are you pushing this agenda down this child's throat?
Yes,
I mean,
that's
my,
my problem with it. An adult,
yeah.
if you want to become a tiger, right? Go ahead, become a tiger if you want
Oh,
to,
for fuck.
whatever you want to be. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, pushing that on children is terrible,
It
terrible,
is.
and it's peer pressure. They want to
Mm.
please their teachers by doing this, and they think it's like a fad, and so many of them regret it. That's why there's such a high unalive thing going on with them.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I want to word myself correctly. I don't want to screw your channel up. You know what I mean?
Oh no, you can say whatever you like. I don't care about
Well, I
money.
specifically word it. I word it certain ways, so I don't bring none of my ramifications onto you, and none of my shit.
Oh no,
It's
listen,
just a
don't worry
respect
about
thing. My Irish sister, deal with it.
uh, you're,
But you know
you're
what I
a
mean.
good man. Yeah, no, I
Many
know.
of them, many of them end up unaliving themselves. Sadly, you know.
Yeah, and it is very, very sad, because for is it for a man that changes to a woman and they go on the hormones and all that kind of thing, the voice never comes back, or it never goes back to that deep voice again. And then for a woman to change to a man, what they don't expect is, they're going to inherit that male pattern baldness,
Yes.
and they don't realize that because nobody tells them these
No, they
things.
lie to them and they say it can
Yeah.
be all reversed. And remember, I told you I seen that little ad and it was about like this documentary. Man, it was so sad. This one girl, she was a girl who transformed into a male and then realized, oh my God, this was terrible. I'm in pain. I want to become a woman again. It was so sad too because she had such, it was so, she tried to like dress like a girl again. And it was so sad. And she was a pretty young girl. They showed a picture of her before all this happened, like when she was in high school. She was
Oh,
such a cute kid, very pretty young girl who would have been a beautiful woman when she got older.
yeah.
And it was so sad. All the things they put around, like you said, the voice.
Yeah.
She needed a wig because of the hair. Poor thing was mutilated. The chest. So
Yeah.
a lot of pain. Yeah, and she was totally against it, and
Yeah.
she actually sued the local because they told her it could be reversed and all that stuff. And you know
No,
what
it
they
can't.
told her mother? They told the
Well,
mother, "Would you rather have a unalived daughter or an alive son?" So basically, the guidance
gee,
counselors and shit were like threatening the mom, pressuring
gee.
her.
I
Yep.
mean, that's disgusting. I mean, you go to therapists for help, or, some way to navigate through your problems or issues that you know you or your child may be having. You don't go there for them to tell you basically you're a shit parent and your kid's going to die if you don't let them do this. That's
Yeah.
indoctrination. That isn't
Well,
help.
they instead of trying to help the person, they push an agenda. They see if that person's open to that agenda, they will push that agenda onto that person, no matter if it's good or bad for them.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, again, back to indoctrination, really, isn't it? You know, and they're getting it
Yes.
from such a young age now. You know, and they're pumping all these ideas into their heads. Oh, you can be a dog, you can be a cat, you can be a man, a woman.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, you can't. You know, if you have a problem with wondering what you are, look between your legs, and that will tell you straight away what you are. Now,
Yeah, and if you're attracted to the opposite, all right, you're a gay person. Okay,
yeah,
like this, they've been around for forever, right? Like, you,
absolutely, yeah.
you don't have to do that. I actually have to get back to work, but it's been fun talking to you, Irish sister, and God bless Ireland and all the UK people in here. God bless you, and
Uh,
save
great,
your Mother Europe.
great chatting to you, Amory. We'll talk to you soon, my Yankee brother. Have a good one, my man.
Always, God bless you all
God
yous.
bless. Take care. Bye,
Bye
love.
bye. How am I getting?
Ah, what a great guy. I love that guy because he shoots from the hip and he tells it as it is. And he's a highly intelligent guy. He's studied history and all sorts of things for a very long time. And yeah, I do love listening to him because he puts things exactly as they should be, as they are. Um, great chatting to you, darling. And so, you know, we're not the only ones who feel the way we do, and it's kind of, it's good to know that other people from other countries, even like America, are feeling the same thing and they want the same things, you know. So good on you, Emory. Thanks for popping up. I'm going to drop the link again, so if anybody else wants to come up and have a chat about anything else, please do. Today I didn't know what I was going to talk about. It was just one of those things that I had been watching before I came live. Was the march in Dublin today and the protest, and I was really really impressed by that guy. Take it easy, sweetheart. Good to chat to you. I was really impressed by that guy. So I subbed to his channel. I can't remember his name now. I'll share it out later on. Um, yeah, lovely man, lovely man. Cares very, very much about what's happening in our country, where it's going, what's happening, why it's happening, and wants it to stop. You know, he's a father, he's got children, you know, and we're all tired of being second class citizens now in our own country. Oh, thank you, Sheila. Thanks, darling, for sharing this link. Thanks, love. Sorry, who did I forget to say hello to? Sheila, hiya, YouTube lady. Whoa, Lisa, hiya, darling. Lady Stardust, Roberta, YouTube lady, ladies. I think I got everybody. I can't remember if I have it on members or not. I think Lady Stardust, I think I said hello to you. Pain like Bane, how you doing, chicken? You well? Yeah. So Roberta, how you love? And I think that's all I can see there. So yeah, it's a subject I think everybody needs to start waking up to, and I think we all need to start looking around us and being more aware of what we can do in our communities to try and just change the situation. You know, again, please don't think that I'm talking about people who've come over here to, you know, work their jobs, buy homes, raise families, contribute to society. That isn't the issue. The issue is the people that are coming here on boats, you know, on flights, undocumented. And to be honest with you, we seem to be getting all the lunatics because it's just it's all centered around children and knife attacks, and it's got to stop. It's got to change. And you know, if the police aren't willing to police our country or our state, unfortunately I can see men and women coming together to join up and do their own patrolling of their neighborhoods, of their areas. And that's what that is exactly what I'm I'm going to say will happen, because I know a few people who are feeling the same thing. AGM, how you doing? AJM, sorry. Um, because I've heard people talking about this, to patrol their own communities to make sure that people are safe. We shouldn't have to do that. I mean, this is what the police are for, but the police just drive by and ignore it, or they purposely turn up late. So, whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And that's just not good enough. It isn't good enough. It's not good enough from our politicians. It's not good enough from An Garda Síochána. You need to step up. I don't know what else needs to happen, but I can see a split in the people over here. I can see groups forming their own groups to police their communities because the Garda doesn't seem to want to do it, or they're afraid. And that's just pathetic. It's a joke, and again, it has to change. So if anybody else wants to come up for a chat, please do. If anybody has anything else to add or change a subject, absolutely do come up and have a chat. Even in Italy, I could see the change in Italy. I mean, there's so many foreign nationals over there as well, and you can just sort of pick them out a mile away. Obviously, I'm going to stick out like a sore thumb. I certainly don't look Italian, but yeah, there are a lot of places over there that you wouldn't really wander down into. You say, yeah, I'll stay away from there. And it's sad. It is sad to think that you're not safe to walk around your own village or your own town or your own city anymore. As I will say, do better. The police need to do better in the UK, and they need to do better here in Ireland. Okay, lovely people. On that note, I'm going to love you and leave you, because I think everybody's just happy to listen to the conversation that was had today. And I will be back tomorrow. Whoever wants to come up for a chat tomorrow is more than welcome. Okay, so on that note, I'll love you and leave you. Mwah, mwah. Thanks for everybody for coming up. MRE, thank you so much for coming on panel. It was fantastic having a good chat to you. I hope people have listened to what's been said and taken things the way they've been meant, and but I'm sure some people will take it and twist it and do what they usually do. Anyway, love you and leave you. Talk to you tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Mwah. Bye.